Hey, Tommy from the Run Testers, and welcome back to the monthly roundup. This is the video where we talk about all the things that we've tested over the past few weeks, which we haven't been able to tell you about in any of the other videos. Right, let's dive in and see what we all picked this month.
My quest to add excellent running undies to my running kit bag continues, and I found another pair. These are the Stance Performance Boxer Briefs. They're inside out at the moment, but I'll show you why in a sec. Now, I love Stance socks. They are staples in my running gear, and these boxers, I recently tried these out for the first time, and I have to say, I'm almost equally as impressed. They tick all the important boxes. You've got good support thanks to what Stance calls its holster pouch. I'm not sure if you can see here, but there's this sort of super soft fabric pouch that kind of everything fits into, and it's held there with good security and support. The fabric of the remainder of the shorts is really soft and stretchy, delicate. It's kind of soft against all your important bits. Offers a good, comfortable, disappearing fit that's decent wicking as well. You've got a nice soft waistband here that's pretty wide, doesn't cut in, but crucially, and this is the real deal breaker for me, these haven't chafed on the runs that I've done in them so far. There is one caveat though, I haven't run over 90 minutes in them. I've gone up to about kind of 80 or so. And for really long hauling, I still think that I would reach for my virtually seamless CXP Endurance briefs, just to be 100% sure. There are some seams here, and that pouch may cause chafing over longer runs. But for those everyday miles, I've sort of found myself reaching for these just for sort of the good basic staple comfort. Now, I'm not long back from running the Trans Gran Canaria Marathon, and I used this 5-litre running vest covering 48 kilometres, virtually putting it fresh on. I'd not run in it before hitting the start line, which is always a risk, of course, but I was really impressed with this, and a few things really stand out for me as a lightweight kind of ultra hydration vest. The first is the adjustable fit. I wasn't carrying a lot of stuff, but it was easy to get the comfortable pack and secure. You've got an easy front bungee system. You've got a side cinching system that lets you really dial in to keep things nicely in place, so you get a real kind of dialed in fit that you can have it secure without it being restrictive. And there was no bounce or movement even on some steeper descents. There's a decent balance here, I think, between it being lightweight, but there's some structure, so it's not really floppy like some other sort of, like the Salomon race vest can be. The back panel here has a highly breathable mesh. There's a toggled main back compartment that holds a decent amount of gear. It also has a divider in it, so you can add things that you want to keep away from your sweaty back and keep those more protected. Now, when I used it in the race for 6 hours, that didn't stop my jacket that I had to put in here, the obligatory piece of kit, getting soaked with sweat. So that is a bit of a drawback, and you'd probably want to use a dry bag or something to keep things 100% dry. But there are good storage options elsewhere with stretch mesh pockets and stash pockets. You've got a zippered front phone pocket. There's a tunnel pocket at the back here which can holster poles or a jacket. There's a built-in whistle. But the thing I love most, and it's the first time that I've seen this in a vest, is this zippered bottle holster sort of setup. That makes it really easy to remove your soft flask when you get into an aid station and then get them back in and then secure them really well where they don't bounce. It makes going through aid stations super simple. Now, the biggest compliment I can pay to this vest though is that I largely forgot I was wearing it. And for runs where you don't need to carry lots of kit and you want to go long hauling or even sort of shorter runs, I would recommend it. Now, summer will be here soon enough, and I got a little taste of that while at the Trans Gran Canaria Marathon, where the temperatures hit 26 degrees, and I needed these matrix shades from a Sunny's brand called Bliz. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's a new brand for me, but one that has impressed me. These shades are designed to be multi-purpose outdoor shades for running, cycling, and skiing. I used them for that 6.5 hour run on the baking volcanic trails of Gran Canaria, and they've been an instant hit for me. Actually, you get a good wraparound protection with a wide field of vision, crucially no glare from the lenses, and the other ultimate thing for me in sunglasses is no bounce, thanks to the fact that it's got a lightweight design. There's good fit security without any digging in from the arms, and those nose pads as well. Again, after many hours, some shades, if you're doing sort of ultra 6.5, some shades you can leave kind of pressure points on the nose pads and stuff, the arms dig in. Those nose pads are adjustable as well, and you can tweak each one independently. So if you've got a big and awkward busted nose that's all wonky like mine, that's really handy for getting good non-wonky fit. You can make them sit right. As I said, they're pretty lightweight, so you can almost forget that you're wearing them. Other things I really like, the lenses can be changed if you damage them or you want to swap them for something slightly different. I also got no fogging up when I was busting lungs. up and down that 1800 meters of climbing and 2000 meters of descending. That's something that can happen when I'm working hard. There's nothing worse than the lenses fogging up. That didn't happen here. The other thing I like, they're well under 100 pounds, so that's not so bad if you're like me, or you often break or lose your shades.
First thing I want to talk about this month is the Running Buddy app, which is a strength training for runners app that's created by an Irish physiotherapist and very keen runner himself, Patrick Carroll. It's the app that I used for my strength training in the build up to the Seville Marathon. I talk about it in the Seville Marathon video as well. And it basically has some very useful targeted workouts designed exactly for runners, hitting all the key areas, backed up by all the research that runners need to do to try and improve their performance and in general their resilience for running. It's also really creates a very flexible program within the app that has the things that I've been using mostly in there are called micro workouts, which you can basically fit around your run. So you do a plyometric move before your run and a couple of strength training moves after your run using weights, things like calf raises or split squats, that kind of thing. Everything is very clearly explained in the app, and there are video demonstrations from Patrick Carroll himself where he really shows you how to do each move perfectly to get the most from it. And as someone who's not been very good at strength training in the past, I found that I was able to do these micro workouts a lot more than I would have done if I was trying to do 2 or 3 big workouts per week, although I did manage to fit in a couple of those from the app as well to test them out. I've just been using the gear I have at home, which is a couple of dumbbells and a kettlebell, but there are also gym-based workouts if you have access to heavier weights, which will be even more effective, I'm sure. And actually, as someone who doesn't like doing strength training that much and struggles to fit it in, I want the stuff I do to be as effective as possible purely for the purpose of improving my running, and that's exactly what I feel you get with this app because it is so backed up by the research. Patrick is obviously a really good expert in this area and just gives you the information you need and the workouts to follow that just make it a little bit easier to hopefully improve your performance. Like I did gain about 1 kilo of weight over the course of my Seville Marathon block, and usually I'm testing my weight each day to make sure I'm not losing weight during marathon training, but I do think I added some useful muscle. Performance on the day obviously went well. I ran a PB in Seville, and I do think strength training helped with that. So it's also worth looking at Patrick Carroll on Instagram because he gives a lot of advice for free basically on there if you want to do that, because the app itself is fairly dear. It's €13.99 a month or €135 a year. I think you can do a trial month for half price using the code trial50, but it's a fair outlay, but you're basically getting access to very, very targeted and useful strength training programs. I know it's an area that runners struggle with sometimes, so I think it's worth checking out if that's you. Second thing I want to highlight this month, which I also used for my Seville trip, is the Silo Crew Drop 1 bag. This is currently only available in the US, where it costs $95. I think it's reduced at the moment to $84 though, maybe. And it's basically a small bag that has lots of compartments, with including one that's dedicated for shoes and lots of other little compartments, so you can organize your kit for a trip like Seville for me, where I was away for just 3.5 days. Needed a bag that was big enough to handle all my running kit and keep it separate from the rest of my clothes and other stuff like that, but wasn't too big. So the bag has 2 zip pockets on the lid. You've got the separate shoe pocket. You've got a lot of little pockets lining the side of it as well, drop-in pockets. So if you do like to keep everything very meticulously organized, like your gels, toiletries, all of that kind of thing, separate from shoes and other kit, then you can do that very easily with this bag. And the size is good. Like, it's a really lightweight bag. It's easy to carry. Now, when traveling, was able to put it in the Ryanair small cabin bag, measuring thing they have at the airport, where they try and get you basically at the gate to see if they can charge you a bit extra. So actually, the measurements of the bag would make it too big for that. And this is one of those things where it's going to be up to you. You want to take the gamble. So I actually had 2 bags. I paid for priority on Ryanair, and I had that was my bigger bag. So it was certainly fine, but if you want to just travel with one bag, this has enough room to take everything you need for a weekend away running, I found. And you probably can just about get it into that underseat, size thing, even though it is listed as slightly bigger than that because it's a soft bag and you can kind of squash it in. How much you want to gamble on that kind of thing? Like, I don't like to gamble with budget airlines because they are trying to get you, and they usually do get you if they can, but this bag, I think, like I said, did fit into the Ryanair one on the way out for me when I was testing it. The Vueling one was a little bit too small, though. That is quite small. These airlines do actually have slightly different things, which is typically annoying from them. But yeah, anyway, it's a really good bag for a weekend trip running, especially if you don't have to worry about those baggage restrictions on those budget airlines. Organise your gear really well. Nice, solid, sturdily made bag with pockets in all the right places to make it nice and convenient, and it fit the bill perfectly for my short trip to Seville over the weekend. And the last thing I want to highlight I've been using this month is the Saysky Combat Plus rib half tights, 8-inch half tights. I'm a big fan of Saysky's tights in general. Their half tights and their shorts. They're probably the shorts and half tights I use the most throughout my training, just because they're really good for everyday wear. They last a long time. They've all gone through tens, maybe hundreds of washes, some of them, and they've held up really well to that. So I do think they're really comfortable, durable, shorts that work really well, and I like the half tights. The new combat ones are now ribbed, ribbed for all our pleasure, which improves the fit a little bit, just makes them feel a bit more comfortable, a bit more breathable according to Saysky, and they've got all the same kind of features you had on the normal combat tights, 2 drop-in pockets, 1 on either thigh, and then a smaller one at the back there. So if you're pretty lightweight in what you carry for something like a marathon, you can get all your gels in there, or for just general use, you can slip a phone in there and a gel and just other little bits like that. They're a bit fluffy right now. I just put them through the wash after using them, and there was something in the wash from the children that has wrecked a lot of my clothes that I need to deal with now, so apologies, there's a little bit of fluff on them in the cutaways, but yeah, really comfortable tights. They do come in at £85 or $110, so not the cheapest tights, but as I said, all of Saysky's gear for me has stood up really well to testing, and they do have sales, so it's maybe something to look out for the future in sales. I've also been using a few other bits of Saysky kit over the winter that have really impressed me, including the clean paste vest, which is a gilet, nice lightweight gilet, which I really like in cold conditions, and there's a woven mesh base layer, which again has been really warm even when worn just under a gilet in cold conditions. So yeah, lots of impressive Saysky gear I've used in the last few weeks. I think the Combat Plus tights are my favourite, just because I really like their half tights, and I do prefer this new ribbed texture you get with these ones. The standard Combat half tights are also very good, and they're a little bit cheaper, but yeah, you've got a little upgrade here if you're prepared to pay the extra money for it.
My first pick this month is an expensive one. I apologise. It's the Asics Fujitrail Elite Waterproof Jacket. This is a running jacket, which is mentioned trail in the title, but you don't need to use it for trails. I've been using it for lots of road running over the past couple of weeks. This is an expensive jacket, but it's a really, really good jacket. It's been raining constantly at the moment where I live, and I've been reaching for waterproof jackets when I've been going out. This one is absolutely great. It feels nice and light on the body. It's got a good protection from the wind. It's been quite windy at the moment around here, and this jacket has just been dealing with it perfectly. It's a very comfortable jacket to wear. It doesn't make you too hot, but it's really good at protecting against the wind and rain, and I've really been enjoying it for that. I really like the fit of it as well. The hood's really nice. You can stick the hood up very comfortably. It's got a bit of ventilation in the back of the hood as well, so it feels relatively breathable when you're out running in it. But it's a very comfortable one to have on. I ran 25k in the marathon training run in this the other day, and it felt great the whole way. I wasn't too hot, I wasn't too sweaty, and normally I like to take jackets off pretty quickly after I started running. There are some other features on it, so it's packable into its front zipper pocket. If you want to do that, if you're out on the trails, you want to stick it in your bag or something like that. It also has some reflective details on it. Nothing too exciting. The usual sort of reflective details you get on these jackets. The main thing really comes down to the fabric. So it's a very comfortable, nice, soft fabric to wear, but also it's got a very good layer of weather protective qualities on it. So all in all, really solid jacket if you're looking for something you can use for the road and the trails, and you want something that looks nice and you want an investment so it's going to last you a while. This is probably a very good option, and I've been very impressed with it. Okay, so as well as doing a lot of running in the dark, I also coach a running club in the dark a lot. So I bought myself this high-vis light, which I use when I'm out coaching. I also use it on my bike as well when I'm cycling on roads in the dark, because I was getting a little bit worried around the country roads where I live that I can't be seen. So I picked up this ICOCOPRO LED running vest or cycling vest, and it's only $11.99. I wanted something that wasn't just reflective. I wanted something that was actually flashing so that people could see me. The way that it works is it's a couple of straps. You put it over your head. You've got lights at the front and red lights at the back that flash. You can change the flashing of them, so you can have them flashing, or you can have them just set to ongoing. And you charge them by USB-C. I really, for $11.99, I've been really impressed with this. It really helps when you're out running in the dark, and especially when I'm coaching, so people can actually see where I am. But for $11.99, it's absolute bargain for what it does, really, and it definitely helps, especially when you're out on the road, for people to see. If you want a bit of extra protection as well as your bike lights if you're cycling. It's very comfortable to put on, straps up really, really easily. I don't really notice it when I'm out running. It's not very heavy, and it's well worth picking up if you're keen on safety and you want something that really is quite bright out there. It doesn't take very long to charge up, and it lasts for quite a long time as well. So yeah, $11.99 for a bit of cycling safety in the dark, which you can use for running as well. Well worth picking up. My last pick this month is from Amazon. It's the Bandletic Garmin fake strap. It's not a real Garmin strap. I picked this up because I've actually had 3 different colorways of this now. I've had my Phoenix 7 X for a couple of years now, so sometimes I like to change the strap on it just to feel like I've got a slightly newer watch. These straps are fabric. I really like fabric straps as opposed to plastic straps. I find I get a bit of rubbing if I use plastic straps or rubber straps. I've really enjoyed using these. They're very, very comfortable. They're pretty cheap, 21 quid, 22 quid. They're very easy. Use the quick fit strap connectors that you get for Garmin. Most of the Garmin's, I think. But they're really easy to put on. You just stick them on, and then you put the loop around, and you've got a Velcro that goes all the way around. Fits really firmly, never have any issues with it coming off. You can tighten it down quite nicely so it's not banging around on your hand. And I did find that with the rubber strap that I was using before, it was quite hard to me to get the fit quite right. This is really comfortable because you just change the Velcro slightly. I have bought various Velcro straps from Amazon in the past, and with many mixed results. Some of them I've just hated. One thing I found about this one is that sometimes when you get a strap, especially the Velcro ones, they don't have Velcro over all the way, so you really have to have the right sized wrist for it to work. This has got Velcro all the way around, so it will fit pretty much anyone, and you'll get quite a lot of coverage on that Velcro, so you can get a nice strap on it. It's also got this weird sort of I don't know if it's like an army design on it. I don't know why, but it's really comfortable, looks really nice. There's lots of different colours you can get, and as I say, I like to change my watch strap once or twice a year, just so I feel like I've got a newer watch. But very much enjoying these. Easy to wash as well. I've not had any problems with it getting manky or anything like that. So yeah, 21 quid for a strap, which I've been very, very pleased with. That's it from us on this roundup. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the little bell. And if you're going to the caption below, you can find a link to our podcast, which comes out a couple of times each month. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you next time.